Connections to Ben Johnson. Bobby Rome joins us to start the show. Adam Rank coming up. Will Campbell moving up the draft boards. Ton to cover. This is the CHGO Bears Podcast. Stick around. That's right. We're going back in time. The college years of Ben Johnson, uncovering everything as we do here on the CHGO Bears Podcast. Yours truly, Mark Carman, the one and only, the incomparable, the man who swung into action yesterday for me on my Bears breaking news that we'll get into a little bit later in the show. Greg P. Allen Bragg's with me here today. Gregory, see you. Hey, to start the show today, we just want to say thank you as our YouTube channel just crossed 80,000 subscribers.
That's right.
We thank each and every one of you who has subscribed. It's a huge appreciation and accomplishment, obviously, for us. Next stop, 90, but more so 100,000. Kevin Kaduk, our head of content's done the math. If you guys support us like you have, we should cross that sometime in December. So we're hoping to beat that. But thank you so much. Gregory, great to see you, buddy.
Yeah, great to see you guys as well. Hey, we got a draft party coming up April 24th and 25th, 13 days away. Caleb Williams days away. We'll talk to more about the details here later in the show. April 24th and 25th. Go to allchgo.com/events. More details to come here later in the show.
All right, without further ado, let us bring in the new head coach of the new football team in town, Chicago State University. The Cougars have football, and they've got Bobby Rome to lead the way, who, of course, as I mentioned, played his college years at North Carolina. Quarterback in high school. They said, go be a fullback because – well, hold on a second here, Bobby. I got your nickname. Your nickname was something Big Boy Rome. Big Boy.
Yeah.
When they start calling you Big Boy? Congratulations on that.
Thank you. Well, when I was at quarterback, of course, I was one of the bigger quarterbacks we had over there, and so the Big Boy joke started kind of immediately. And once I transitioned positions over to the backfield. And kind of moved into the fullback position, it kind of stuck. It started sticking a little bit more. Guys would start, now it's really the big boy. Oh, the big boy got the ball. Big boy, and that's now, it kind of stuck and kind of went from there. So, hey, like I said, I'll take it. You know what I mean? Like I said, I was, I love my time at Carolina. I was a big time brotherhood, and the moment you walk on campus, you're going to get, those older guys are going to give you a nickname. So, I didn't fight it, didn't, argue with it, just kind of took it and kept it moving.
I mean, if I had gone to Carolina, for the record, Bobby, I would have planted myself in front of every Jordan poster, every Jordan statue, every Jordan jersey, and just stared at that like for 30 minutes each morning, and then gone out and did my thing. I don't know if that's what you did in your morning. So I hope Ben Johnson did.
Well, I think most Carolina students, when they come across anything Jordan, we're going to take a look. We're going to take a look. We know, he walked those same walkways that we walked in, and the same hallways and same rooms, same classrooms and stuff. So, Carolina's definitely a special place. You know what I mean? We produce a lot of great talented individuals, and we expect nothing less. So Jordan's at the cream of he's at the top. He's at the top of the top.
Yep, no question. That's why he's over my back shoulder right there. It's the reason that I'm the insane diehard sports fan that I am today. So before we get into some of your playing days, and obviously, we've been teasing to our fans here that you had some time with Ben Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
Just wanted to say congratulations to you on being hired at Chicago State. When we're talking about basketball, some of the best high school basketball I've ever seen was at Chicago State University, watching some of the public league championships, Taylor Horton Tucker and some different guys going at it. So when the vibes are good there from a sports perspective, it's some of the best atmosphere you can get around because of the authenticity of the people there and how much they really just get into, how connected the community is with the players that are on the field.
100%, and that's why I'm excited about this opportunity that we have here at Chicago State. We have an unbelievable opportunity to kind of build a legacy. And I think that starts, in the community. That starts in the community, finding like-minded individuals that's inspired to help the youth. Help the community overall in Chicago State University, and look for some stakeholders. Some potential stakeholders for our football program, and kind of start there. And like you said, those fiery fans, they're relentless, and I would say, the love they have for this institution, it's shown over the years, and the ties they have to this institution. When I was looking at this opportunity, I reached out to one of my coach's friends that I knew that was, from Chicago. He was actually from that area. And he talked about his connection with the university. He used to go to the library all the time with his mother. And those type of experiences are the people that we're looking to reach out to and touch, and kind of give them something to celebrate, give them something to cheer for every Saturday. And I'm excited about being an ambassador for that for Chicago State. It's our time. You know what I mean? It's our time, and we're gonna need some like-minded individuals to help us get to where we want to be.
Well, you've got nothing but great talent, in this area, in the city of Chicago, and the state of Illinois. I've challenged DePaul the same way, and I'll give you that same challenge, man. There are plenty of great. I covered high school sports in Indiana and Illinois. There are plenty of great players here that, in my opinion, get overlooked by a lot of schools around the country, but they should never be overlooked by the local schools around here. So, in my opinion, I think you've got a good head start with the recruitment in the area here with some of the kids that you'll be able to talk to.
100%. I think the recruiting has to start right here at home. It has to start right on the south side of Chicago first, and then expand across the whole city of Chicago, and then throughout the state of Illinois, and then we'll hit our neighboring states. But we want young men that want to be here, that want to stay here in the city of Chicago and make the city of Chicago great. Our overall goal, when we think about the big picture of this thing, we want to pull 100 of the best young men we could find out of these great neighborhoods, and bring these young men to Chicago State, develop them young men holistically on and off the field, create community leaders, create fathers, create husbands, create guys that's going to, be game changers in our community, and continue that cycle over and over and over again. I think a Chicago State graduate is going to hold big time weight, now and in the near future in the city of Chicago. And like I said, we want to do our part, and we think football is a great way to get that done.
Well, giving kids who deserve an opportunity something right in front of them, I love that part of this, Coach. So best of luck on it. I know it's a heavy lift, and starting a football program, that can't be easy. But you seem super enthused about it. So I just think it's just an awesome thing that's happening in the area, and quite frankly, we need some good things happening. So I love it. But let's rewind back to your time with Ben. So first time meeting Ben Johnson in a quarterback room.
Right.
Do you have any memories of that? And what were they?
Big time. So first time I met Ben was in the quarterback room. Our first meeting actually. Ben, he wasn't shy about introducing himself, and letting me know that, hey, if you need anything, let me know. I'm always gonna be someone that can help you. And for me, being this freshman, coming in scholarship guy, like, well, I'm gonna need your help. I got this. I'm thinking, that's what I'm thinking to myself. We get out there on the field, and me and Ben start warming up, and I mean, Ben doesn't throw the football on the laces, by the way. He doesn't use the laces when he throws, but man, he throws a nice tight ball, and it was firm, very tight, firm football, and he's very accurate, and he's a pretty good athlete. So I was kind of shocked that he was, had this walk-on status, And then when we got into the plays and stuff like that, more into practice, Ben was very open to helping me. He was pulling me aside, telling me my mistakes, telling me, before the play, things I should be looking for. And, I've always thought like, man, I always thought he was an outstanding teammate. Ben was somebody I can, when I was feeling down and couldn't take, had a difficult time taking the college coaching, Ben he quick to say, hey man, he does that to everybody. You know what I mean? And like I said, I have a lot of respect for Ben, and one thing I can say, he's very smart, very, very smart on and off the field. I've been following Ben, coaching career, from from the time he started as a GA at Boston College. And I would say he's been under some outstanding coaches. If you look back to some of the coaches he spent some time with, even on the college ranks, he's been under Coach Gary Tranquil, who actually gave Nick Saban his first start at Michigan State in his defensive backfield. And Gary Tranquil has been a coordinator on both sides of the football on the FBS level. So that was the guy that kind of brought Ben under his fold. And Ben was actually and Coach Tranquil was actually our quarterback coach at UNC Chapel Hill. So like I said, I think the Bears fans can expect someone who's going to set expectations. He's going to set standards, and they're going to be very high. They're going to be very explosive on offense. They're going to be very creative. And Ben has a plan. He has a plan. Trust me, he has a plan. He wanted to be here in Chicago, and I'm telling you, he's going to deliver.
Coach, would you call him fiery? Was he fiery back then? Were you ever intimidated by him?
No, not at all. Not at all. But I would tell you this one thing I knew about Ben, when Ben knows how to play his role. So when he was on the sideline, he was cheering everybody on. But when when it was his time to get his reps and command the huddle, he went in there and commanded the huddle, and that was something that as a young quarterback coming into UNC, it's kind of hard. That's a hard thing when you're walking into a huddle when everybody's 6 to 7 inches taller than you and outweigh you by 100 pounds, and you're telling them to dress it up, hey, quiet up. There's only one guy talking in the huddle. Ben was quick to come in there and kind of lay down the law and get the play call off and, make adjustments at the line of scrimmage without coach even, prompting it. And like I said, and those were the things where, talent wise, it made up for the talent that he did lack, And I remember going and calling my father and telling him my dad was talking, reading things on the quarterback battle, at UNC at the time, and he was intrigued by Ben Johnson, because he was a walk on and he was sitting at number 3. I was sitting at number 4, and I just told my dad, I said, Dad, he knows his stuff, and I just told him, I said, I'm confident enough, like, if I had to go with a guy right now, if someone got hurt, it would be him, because he knows the checks, he knows the calls, he's confident in the huddle, and I'm just not there. And he never made me feel that, feel like, I was underneath him. He always continued to coach me up. He tried to literally coach me up to surpass him. And I'm being honest, and I'm being genuine when I say that. He coached me up to try to surpass him. Like, he was, the things I need to work on, he didn't mind taking his free time for training camp and sitting down with me and going over signs, play signs and stuff like that. And I remember when he really stepped up into that situation was we were playing Wisconsin, and this is my second college game of my career. I'm dressing out. Right now, I'm considered a third string quarterback on the depth chart, like on the actual official depth chart. But we all knew if it came down to it, they'll probably go ahead and throw Ben in there. We didn't have headsets at the time. Me and Ben didn't have a headset. The backup at the time had the headset. And coming from high school, I thought, man, nobody gets hurt, so I don't have to worry about it. I'm never going to play. I'm never going to, see the field. So it was kind of like a little I thought it was going to be like a little vacation for me. I started quarterback. He got hit and went down for a few plays, and I mean, my heart dropped because everyone on the sideline was looking for me to grab the headset. And I was like, man, I said, if they're looking for me to call any plays and signal any plays out to this field on national TV in front of all these fans, they got the wrong guy. And I said, And I backed up and handed it to Ben. Ben grabbed the headsets, put them on, walked over there and started signaling the plays. And that's where he stayed. That's where he stayed the rest of the season. He traveled every single game after that. He was signaling plays ever since, and he went with Coach Tranquil to Boston College when Coach Tranquil left. So I seen the start of Ben Johnson's career, and I'm telling you, guys are getting a, a darn good coach. And I studied Ben a lot as a head football coach. His offense, his red zone offense, because they were scoring in the red zone at a very high clip. And if you look at my numbers from the red zone for the past 2 seasons, we scored at an 89% touchdown clip. So we got a lot of those things, a lot of those plays from Ben Johnson. His detail, and his understanding of tendencies and understanding of what, not just what the defense is doing, but what the individual tendencies are of a defensive player, and to being able to take advantage of that. I don't think there's any play call in the NFL that's doing that at that high level right now. And like I said, I studied a lot of guys.
I love a lot of that for the record here. One, knowing your own strengths, like, hey, that guy's better. You're good for the team. That's impressive by a young man because, you get that opportunity. You don't want to pass it off. So good on you, coach. And then just hearing the Ben stuff's super awesome. And by the way, you guys, you were 15-15-1 at your last school, Florida Memorial, 6-3 last year, 425 yards a game, 38 points a game. So apparently we're giving like 3% of credit to Ben Johnson for those numbers, which is, hey, tip of the cap, I suppose. I mean, maybe I'm giving him, maybe it's 2.5%, coach, but somewhere in there you still something, it sounds like.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like I said, especially his stuff down in the red zone. His stuff was really good. Really, really good. And the stuff he did in Detroit down in the red zone was really extremely good. And we used some of that stuff. And like I said, Ben likes to stay ahead of the curve. He likes to invent the curve. From what I've seen, I know he's not going to say that, but from what I've seen, he likes to invent the curve. And for me, I'm watching. I'm watching very closely, and I'm glad he was my teammate. Like I said, and I got to watch his progression. I got to watch Ben grow. From that GA position at Boston College. I mean, I started as a backup quarterback, from a backup quarterback at UNC, understanding his role and you understand I've been coaching college football for a while now, and one of the hardest things is getting young men to understand what their role is and how valuable their role is to our team's success. And Ben, he knew that. He knew that coming in, and he showed that, every day, and how he prepared, and every day and how he interacted with his teammates. So I know like I said, I know personally what Chicago is getting, and I guess I have a lot of respect for Ben, and I think he's going to do very well.
I got to tell you, just sitting here listening to you, I mean, this is incredible insight. And I know for all the Bears fans watching this, I mean, I would argue this is probably the most fascinating interview I've heard on Ben Johnson yet. And we're excited for your personal career here at Chicago State and everything you're going to bring here. But, here this being a Bears show and giving these kind of the backstory, right? And
Right.
the start of someone's journey. And that's what you're going to be called upon to do, to help people start their journeys at Chicago State. It's really fascinating to hear this, because you really find the cut of a person, at where they started. And so I appreciate all these insights. Have you had a chance to reach out to him since he's became the head coach? How much do you stay in touch with him?
Well, we both know this. We both know how this career is. You know what I mean? We both stay extremely busy. I know Ben. I knew once he took over the opportunity with Chicago, he was going to be extremely busy. You know what I mean? I reach out to Ben. Me and Ben has been Facebook friends since 2005. You know what I mean? Right? We've been, and you go back to some of our messages. It's kind of funny, we're talking. I mean, it's about, oh, I got class. Can you meet at this time? Little stuff like that. And I reached out to Ben. I reached out before he got the job, when I congratulated him last season on all the success that he's garnered. Before he even stepped into the role as the head coach of the Chicago Bears. And I was just very, very proud of him. And like I said, he doesn't know, like I said, he motivates me. He motivates me, and and like I said, I can only imagine the stuff he has on his plate. So to reach back to get back to little old me, like I said, I'm not pressed about it, but at the same time, Ben's always been a very solid guy. He's reached out, he reaches out to his teammates, he talks to us, I've spoken through people as well, you know what I mean? But I know Ben has been very locked in, especially through the last 4 seasons. I know he's been extremely locked in.
Well, I know you're going to be locked in for the season, but you are cordially invited to our tailgate before you hit up a game. I know you're probably going to go check out a Bears game at some point.
For sure.
So when and if you do, because I know you're going to be busy with your own work, but if you do, you are cordially invited to come out to our tailgate before you get in.
I would love to.
You got to make it. It's close to campus. You do need to know on the way out here, and I know that all our Bears fans want me to tell you that I think it was 2019 or 2020. I am the 4-0 champion of the Chicago State University tennis tournament. I got a medal and all these things. So, I'm looking forward to coming back down there this year and defending my title. I've been absent for a couple of years, so it's not really mine still. But just know that one of the many titles of the activities you have down there, I am a proud owner, and it's maybe my greatest accomplishment in life. So,
well, congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you. Hey, everybody loves a winner, Coach, so get it going, and you guys are going to, people, I think, will start gravitating quickly, and even regardless of the winning stuff, what the opportunities you're providing is just awesome. So thank you.
Thank you so much. I agree.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Bobby.
Yeah, we'll talk soon down the road. And we're rooting for you, man.
All right, man. We'll go Chicago State and go Bears.
Absolutely. All right. The great Bobby Rome in town, working his way in the college football scene. Great stuff with Ben Johnson. That was a lot of fun. I think people enjoyed that clearly by the comments. Certainly we did. Adam Rank, ready to rock and roll though, Greggy. So let's keep going forward here. But first.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to give a shout out to our friends over at Sunnyside. Of course, Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary is your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping, a place where all kinds of visitors are welcome to explore, discover, and purchase a wide array of high-quality products. Sunnyside has everything you need to elevate your summer. What are some of the amazing features that make the brand or product awesome? Well, they have a one-stop shop for all your cannabis needs. Sunnyside has an expertly curated menu with over 100 strains to choose from, plus easy online ordering and in-store pickup. Sunnyside is Illinois' favorite dispensary with locations all across the city, including in Wrigleyville and River North. If you're starting out, Sunnyside has expert guidance and brands we know you'll love, like Good News and Mindy's. And if you're a pro, we've got you covered with over 100 strains on the menu and new ones added daily. So visit sunnyside.shop for bright buys every day, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Enter the promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary, bright buys every day, only for 21 or older in Illinois medical card holders.
Shout out to our friends at Bet365. They got the early payout offers in the NHL, in the NBA, in MLB. Hogue loves when he bets the Bulls tonight, taking on Washington, because, hey, they go up by 20 points in the second quarter like they're going to. You get paid out instantly. That's what they do with the Bet365 early payout offer. And yes, they are making it so perfect for you to sign up. This is it. Breaking news from Bet365. The new people in town. New customers now get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. So all you got to do is sign up, use the code CHGO365. You deposit $10, you make a bet for $5, and then you get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. So hey, if you win that, say $5 bet, now you got 10 plus the 150, you got 160. That's sweet, and you're rolling. And hopefully you do well from there. Bonus bets can be used on spreads, on totals, on player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. You do have to be 21 or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER. In-app only. Reminder, this is in the app only. So you got to download the app, get it done in the app. All right, let's move along to our friend. Oh, there he is, spinning in like he's never spun in before. It is a Friday. It is 12:25. We're a little late, but Adam Rank is ready as he always is. Good to see you. I think you're on mute. Yes, you are. Yes, you
it's
are.
A tradition.
It's a tradition now.
Yeah, just like the Masters, a tradition unlike any other.
Leaving that thing on mute. I don't know why. It's whenever I plug into this device or the device the first time of the day, I'll be leaving the computer here because I'll go out there. I'll do my production meeting a little bit later. I got a hit with NFL Network. It will be 4, 6, whatever. 6 something on the central time there. But this is what gets me sorted. This what gets me set up is like I make sure that I'm muted here, so I'm not muted for the rest of the day. And so, but it's cool though, because I was sitting here getting an opportunity to enjoy the interview. The thing that I enjoy about the interview the most is when Greg starts congratulating himself about how great the interview is during part of it. Like, I'm so good at interviewing people. I just want to let you know, I've heard a lot of interviews back in the day, but what I'm doing, this work that I'm doing here is some of the most fascinating I've ever heard in my life. I am great at this.
Listen, this was all Carm. He booked the guest. He kept his ear to the grindstone when it came to his connection to Ben Johnson there. And honestly, I was just kind of sitting back like the listeners and hearing this guy go and talking about, you know, their start to their football journeys there. But yeah, so I was congratulating Carm, which is rare in and of itself. So credit to him. And I really enjoyed it. But yes, I have no shortage of pats on my own back. That's for sure.
No.
Great underlining, Rank. Absolutely great underlining. And I don't believe what Greg just said.
It makes no. I know what Greg was saying.
Yeah.
Now, like we're so good right here. Like while he's still sitting there. Usually you let the guest go, and you're like, hey, that was a really nice job, Carm.
No,
that's okay.
Yeah.
No, it's good. It's good. It's good. I'm not. I'm just happy to be here. But I was enjoying it as well. Like all the fans here of this great show. I was enjoying it. And you know what the thing that stuck out to me the most is when he started talking about the red zone offense.
That was cool.
And that really struck a chord with me because I'm like, you know what? That's true. Like if we could really get that shored up, you kind of want Cairo to be bored this season to the point of like, yeah, sorry, you've kicked 5 field goals this year because we're just scoring so many touchdowns. And the Lions scored 70 touchdowns last year. A big reason why was because how good they were in the red zone. And I think back to, you can go back to that Commanders game or whatever and think about like some of the atrociousness that we had in the red zone, that if we can clean that up and get that going, that's something to be excited about. Like a lot.
Yeah. Let's get into this because this is a setup. Rank. You've been I've got you square in my corner. And every week I task you to give us a ranking. And last week was ranks a lot.
Yep.
The week before was what was the first week? We had, I don't know. Rank 'em. That's right.
Rank 'em, whatever.
Ranks a lot. And then this week, I text you up. I'm finally back. Last week I'm in the Friday 120 Club and I'm like, hey, you got a ranking this week. And you're like, I'm sorry.
Nope,
I couldn't. I'm busy. So I brought the ranking to you this week, good sir.
Good. This is what I like. You're helping me out.
So today we are naming the segment "Ranks for Nothing." You like it? You like it? All right. Well, we're gonna get into this, and we got a little graphic here to pull up. Steven did a nice job of getting this, and so this is the Ranks for Nothing segment. 5 players, Adam Rank, who could fall to the number 10 pick. I want you to start from the least percentage chance to highest percentage chance of these 5 players that could fall to 10. The floor is yours. Ranks for nothing.
The most likely to fall to 10, the least likely to fall to 10 to me, and I'll be having my piece come out for NFL.com. I just put it out there. Pretend like when it drops next week, just go read it anyways. I'm going to give you a little bit. I'm going to tell you who I had the Bears taken because I'll just let you guys know. Because my mock draft is never a prediction. It's always a recommendation where a lot of people like Bucky Brooks and Daniel Jeremiah are like, this is where I think, this is what I predict. I'm like, no, this is what they should do. So for me, of that list, and this is the God's honest truth, for me, the least likely guy to be there at number 10, the least likely guy to be there at number 10 is going to be Ashton Jeanty. I think that there's not a great chance that he's going to be there. Not only are the Raiders a team that could take him, I've said this. I think the Giants could be in the mix too. I know a lot of people find that foolish. I'm not saying I would actually encourage them to do it. I'm like, your team sucks. and your fans need something to be excited about. And if you have Malik Neighbors and Ashton Genty and whatever you're going to run out there at quarterback, I think that would be a pretty good option for them. And so if it's not them, you also have the Giants, or excuse me, the Raiders, even the Saints could be a team that could do it, or a team that wants to move up in the draft to go out there and take a running back. So I think he's the least likely. I'd be shocked if he was there. The next one for me is going to be Ty Warren. I really don't think there's a good chance. I really don't see Tyler Warren dropping this far in the draft. One of the reasons being because Brock Bowers was so good. And not only Brock Bowers, but Sam Laporta over the last couple of years has been really good as well. And there's been a heavy emphasis not only on teams getting a tight end, but even teams that have a tight end that you feel okay with, trying to fortify him and running some more 12 personnel. And I think a team like the Bears are that type of team where you're like, yeah, I understand that we have Cole Kmet, but we shouldn't shy away from the opportunity to go out there and add somebody like Tyler Warren, which, again, I think that he's heavily in play for the Jacksonville Jaguars at 5. I think the Carolina Panthers make a lot of sense for him as well. You know, they have not replaced Greg Olsen over this time. The Saints are also another team that not necessarily a need for them, but a lot of times these teams are now starting to be a little bit more forward thinking, where you're just not always drafting for need. So for me, I'd be shocked if either one of those two guys, who are the most talked about on Bears Twitter, seem to be the least likely players to get down to Chicago. And I guess right in the middle of the road, I would have Mason Graham being the third least likely person to be down there. Now, in my mock draft with a twist, I have massaged the board to make Mason Graham available, which I think would be a slam dunk for the Bears. And I know that Greg and I have talked about being trench drunk and doing all that stuff and trying to fortify on both sides of the trenches. Regardless, you know, whoever you rate higher, whoever you think is a better player. And I think that Mason Graham is a better player, a better football player than the other two offensive tackles there. So I would rather have him over those guys. And as a matter of fact, in my mock draft with a twist, I have both of those guys available to the Bears, which would be really interesting because I truly believe, and I go by Daniel Jeremiah's rankings, is I think Loveland is all, like, a lot of people think that Loveland might be a better player, the better tight end there. So he is also a player. Because I think Carolina is a huge need for a tight end. So, and I saw somebody's mock draft online, and God bless them. Like, yeah, and then I got us taking Will Campbell at 10, Loveland in the second round. You're like, he's not getting to the second round. He probably won't go in the top 10, but I'm like, it wouldn't shock me. I would recommend a team taking him in the top 10, but that's just me. But I think Mason Graham's there. And then we go to the two tackles. I think Will Campbell is a higher rated player than Membo. Will Campbell, the reason that I feel like he could drop is because his arms. And it's the same thing with Mason Graham. Like we are still in this world where we watch guys play football and you're like, you're very good at that. However, we're over here at the underwear Olympics and your arm's not long enough. So apparently you suck and it's not going to translate and it's not going to work. And I know there's something about stepping up to the NFL level where you're like, well, you know, he really didn't have this or whatever. But a lot of times I feel the effort is usually what takes plays, other than like my arm's a quarter inch too short or anything like that. And then Membo would be the guy that I think is the most likely to be available for the Bears. And I was on the Tape Never Lies network, and I was scared away from him. Draft Dr. Phil hates him. Like it literally just does not like him as a football player. Does not think he's good at all. And I think that now again, I'll let the scouting go in. His thing is like, if they take Membu, then it shows that they don't watch the tape and they're only going off the rack score or the SCARs or whatever the thing is. Pace score, whatever. I'm thinking of it.
RAF score. Yes.
Rad. There it is. And as Eric's saying here too, is Nate Tice does have Loveland ranked higher than Tyler Warren. I really do. I know it'd be weird to see two tight ends go in the first round or the top 10. But again, the same thing. If Jacksonville did take Tyler Warren, I think Carolina I understand that they need help defensively, but you invested so much in Bryce Young. You got to go that extra mile. And if Loveland is there at number whatever it is, take him. Because again, it helps the Bears when you start taking guys like this. So it helps out. I wish we could, and Tyler Warren's fine. I'm good with just about any one of those guys falling to us.
All right, so that was an outstanding on the fly. What'd you title it today? One more time. I'm sorry.
Ranks for nothing.
Ranks for nothing.
That's a good job. We're gonna do. Adam. I gotta tell you, there's part 2 to this, which is coming up in a second. This is the Carm. There's the Carm part of it, which is a lot easier than what you just had to do. We'll keep it real basic. So just hang on for 1 second. Get refocused.
I love it now. I love this because sometimes I need help like this.
No, that's what we do.
I got a comedy show going on tonight, and I've been like, and so the guy texts me, and I've known this guy for 20 years, and he goes, "Hey, I need you to do my show in Rancho Santa Margarita or wherever Carson Palmer's from," and I'm like, "Yeah, okay, great." And he's like, "Oh, by the way, there's gonna be a lot of old people here, a lot of silver foxes," and I'm like, "No problem." And he's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, you can't cuss, you can't be political. And try not to be edgy." I'm like, you've seen me for 20 years. You know what I talk about. Like, why? I feel like he's setting me up to fail. And I'm thinking about Irish helloing him and just not showing up. Oh, you know what? Adam Dodge. Well, let me think. You should come to a show. Yeah, somebody's just texting me about the show right now. But he set me up. I'm like, I have nothing so I've been sitting here all week writing new jokes. I'm basically doing a new 15 tonight that I've just written. So we'll see how it goes. Because I can't sit here and talk about smoking weed. I can't sit here and talk about some of the things that I would love to talk about. So it's taken my focus away a little bit. Well, for this show, and I'll let you know that I'm also mailing in the NFL Network show too. Mailing that one in super hard.
Congratulations. Listen, you've earned it, buddy. And Greg and I need to fly out and see you do one of your comedy gigs because
1,000%.
I'll come to Chicago. We'll find a place in Chicago to do it.
That's fine. We can do it that way.
You know what? I've done it before. We did a thing one time at the Beat Kitchen. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And we didn't have a huge turnout, but it was a fun turnout. We did I did a stand-up show, and I brought in a couple of comics with me. And then we did a comedy show, and then after that, it was just a football fest. And I'm like, if we did that, if we could get like the Beat Kitchen was a really cool spot too. And I love Roscoe Village.
Yep.
And it's like, we should do that like as a day, like a kickoff day, like just a thing. I'll talk to our friends. We'll get Marquis. Well, let's get Marquis to play for it. And then we'll just bring everybody in and have a big show.
And there's really, let's be honest, there's never a big crowd at the Beat Kitchen. And I love the Beat Kitchen. Shout out to my guy, RIP Simon Piacenti, who played many gigs at the Beat Kitchen. And nobody really ever came, but it was always a good time. All right. On that note, just let's pause for 1 second. Rank part 2 coming up here. That's my segment, Rank part 2. But first, it's Friday. It's time. Crack it open right now with our friends. Light beer getting better. That's right. Sam Adams American Light. Let's go. It's clean, crisp, super easy to drink. And it doesn't even taste like light beer. You won't even know it's light beer. It's not your average light beer. And yeah, brewed with 100% American sourced ingredients, local independent farmers. This is the good stuff. Light beer made right. Get yourself one to start off your weekend here. Light beer getting better. Grab some Sam Adams American Light, available now at Chicago retailers. You do have to be 21. Please drink responsibly. Shout out to Boston Beer.
That's right. And quick shout out here to our friends over at Empire Today. Just like your favorite team needs a home court advantage, your home needs a home floor advantage, and Empire Today can help you get that. Empire Today has flooring experts, dedicated flooring professionals who focus on flooring every single day. We've all been to those big box stores. You wander endlessly around the aisles, then somehow you're hauling all these materials home looking for an installer and coordinating everything yourself. Those big box stores might have a flooring department, but the person helping you with flooring may have been doing bricklaying yesterday and could be stocking light bulbs tomorrow. So you got to know who you're trusting, and that's the whole point with Empire. Why is Empire Today your best bet for a new floor? Well, Empire Today lives and breathes flooring, and they will be with you every step of the way. It's a whole different ball game. Their flooring experts bring the showroom right to your floor. Pick the flooring and the right colors for your space. See how it looks with your furniture in your house. That's the kind of quality detail, attention to detail Empire has. So schedule a free in-home estimate today because some things are just better at home. CHGO listeners can receive a $350 discount when using the promo code CHGO. Yes, you heard that right, Adam Rank. A $350 discount with code CHGO. Restrictions apply. Yes. Visit Empire today/CHGO for full details.
All right. Now, Adam.
I need to do that. Wait, hold on. I need that carpet thing.
Oh, man.
They're the best, man. Empire Today home floor advantage is it's freaking awesome.
Yep, absolutely. So what do you got, Carm? You jumped.
What are we doing?
I'm keeping it super easy for you.
We'll see about that.
But I do think it's just kind of a fun little exercise because let's just underline the offseason that Ryan Poles has had. I'm just talking about the headliners right now. But you got, and everybody knows the names, but just wanted to remind everybody on this Friday, April the 11th, 2 weeks away from day 2 of the draft, coming out to our draft party, all of it. The reason why the Bears are set up for the draft is because Ryan Poles went out and signed Drew Dahlman to a 4-year deal. He traded for Joe Thuney. He traded for Jonah Jackson, extended him a year. Then defensively, out of nowhere, free agent, Grady Jarrett, come on down. And then Dayo Odengbo. That's 5 dudes. I want you, Adam Rank, on Rank them with Carm. I want you to rank in order the impact that each will have. The biggest impact on down, 1 through 5, Dahlman, Thuney, Jackson, Jarrett, Odengbo on the Bears winning games next year. Who do you think is one on down as most, crucial signings for this season? I think you can do this. I believe in you.
No, I think that the number one, the most impactful one, I think was Drew Dahlman. Honestly, just getting the center position right, which has been a huge issue for a number of years. I think going back to the time when Mitch Trubisky was playing for this team, it never felt like we had never really solidified the center position. And if Drew Dahlman can come in here and give stability and start, 17 games or 15 games even, like that kind of stability is going to just build out from the offensive line, and it's going to lend itself to everybody playing better, Caleb Williams being more comfortable. We do know that he is a good player. We've seen him play in Atlanta, and he's a great player. So I think that's number one, probably the most important. I think number 2 would be Joe Thuney. For a lot of the reasons that Greg talked about when he was signed, it's not only the fact that he's a great left guard and a veteran presence, but he's also a winner. And he brings that winning persona to this team. And again, like a lot of times you have different people who lead in different ways. And you know that if you coach on any level, like you always have people who are like, you know what, I have a girl who's on my U10 team she's just a stud. She's probably the best player in the league. And but she's not as vocal as you would want. And I'm trying to get her out and being like, I make her pick the captains. It's like, hey, who are the captains? And I'm like, Hudson, pick the captains. Hudson, do that. And I'm like making her do things outside of like, you can't just come out here and show up and be great. Now you got to start little things. And God, I can't remember. I'm jinxing myself. But like if we allow a goal or something, like you got to be the first one down there to tell the goalie it's not your fault. Even if it is her fault, tell her that it's not her fault. Like working on things like that. And I think having a guy like Joe Thuney on this team is super important, which is also, I'm going to have 2 guys tied for a second because I think Grady Jarrett will also be that guy on the second half. And he's going to be a huge impact as a vibes guy. Like he can obviously play. He's a good football player who is going to be great for us, but he's also a good vibes guy. And you can tell when, like he was mic'd up going after Jordan Love, and he didn't back off of it. He actually leaned into it, and it seems personal. And it's like, I feel like he is really looking forward to that, and he's already bought in. He already knows the assignment. Like, we don't have to tell him. Like, I don't have to give you the Chicago crib sheet. You already know. You already know to call it the Chicagoland area. If you're from Hoffman Estates, you can't tell people on this show that you are from Chicago. You have to say, I'm from Hoffman Estates, because everybody knows. When I'm on the NFL Network, I was born in Chicago. When I'm here, I'm from Hoffman Estates. And that's a subtle difference. And guys like Grady Jarrett come in there and understand that because they understand the assignment. So he's going to be huge. Following that, I think that every signing was important. I think Dario Odengbo is a player that I actually really like him. I think he's going to be exciting. And I think that if we can go out there and if we get somebody, like if we do get Mason Graham, or we continue to improve on the defensive line, Dario Dangbo is going to be one of those special players who, listen, is he going to be an all-pro? I don't think so. But is he going to be somebody who makes a crucial sack in a big moment? I really do believe he has that kind of ability. Signing an ascending player to come in here and not be a superstar, but be a role player. You don't need to be Khalil Mack, but you can also be just a solid player for us, and I love it. And Jonah Jackson, I don't want to take anything away from him. I honestly thought, I'm like, are we signing him for depth? But obviously, with the money that we're throwing to him, there's a lot of faith being put into him by Ben Johnson. And if he is the worst one of this list, I still think that he can be pretty good. And I'm not diminishing anything that he's going to do, but we got to make these rankings. This is the tough part. I got to pick 5. You know what? Sometimes you can only put so many toppings on a pizza. And so these are the tough calls that we have to make. I hope they all do well. And we could probably flip Dare and Jonah, but again, I think that, those two guys, I think it's actually more tiers to me, where it's like Jonah.
I would say Dio Dangbo's at the bottom of your list because you're still working on the Dio aspect of his name.
I think he upgraded him from Dio to Dari. It's an upgrade. And listen, he's an Dangbo.
Your whole ranking list is wrong today. It's Tooney 1, Dahlman 2. Dahlman was the most important signing in terms of getting a center in here. But who's going to give them the best chance to win? Joe Tooney, because he's a winner. So it's Joe Tooney 1. Then it's Dahlman 2. Then it's Grady Jarrett 3. Then it's Jonah Jackson, and then Dio Dangbo 5. That's the list, Rank.
I'm with you. The center and that partnership and the youth and stepping into his prime. Look, if things go the way we want them to go for the Bears this year, I think Dahlman will be at the top of that, and we'll be hearing about how him and Caleb are just buddies and how much Drew has helped Caleb get to the next level. Because let's be honest, we need a big-time jump right there as far as the flow of the offense. Rank, do you remember your college years?
I mean, not all of them.
Remind me where you went.
Cal State Fullerton, baby.
That's right. You've told us that many times before. So I got a special treat for everybody today.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
And this is like –
This is scary.
It's not. It's like PG-13 plus. What's about to be popped onto your screen? And there it is.
Oh my God!
If you want to know what I would look like as a draft prospect coming out of the University of Iowa, there it is at the Underwear Olympics, getting ready to go dominate on the University of Iowa Fieldhouse intramural courts. Do you see the broad shoulders and just the budding superstar that just got to the hoop and led an elite 8 team? That popped into my life again today, right? I just got somebody sent me that photo this morning, and I thought it was important to bring to the show. I mean, what do you see in that picture? I'd like to have your wisdom if you can.
I wonder where everything went wrong. I want to know what happened over the last number of years.
That kid looked like he had something going for him.
That was a stud. That was a guy you're like, all right, this guy. Depending on the way, you would always size up guys when you were playing pickup basketball or anything like that. Like, hey, the guy who comes in with his shirt off already, like, I'm going to guard that guy because there's something about it. I got to see what's going on because there is a level of comfort that is either like he's overcompensating or he's like underplaying it. So I would always be like, I'm going to guard. I got that guy. I would look at him. I got that guy.
I would say that my biggest takeaway from this picture is how broke you are because that wallet is thin. There is no money in that wallet.
Oh, it's a wallet.
And he's looking through it pretty hard. You can tell. And I don't know if he's looking for money or something else in there, but there's nothing in there. That's for sure. Never mind the nipples.
No. We were scuffling. Let's be honest.
He's out there looking like Anthony Kiedis over there.
Every deal that Iowa City had for you generally generally the pizza situation. That's what I was doing. But hey, that's why I delivered pizza for Gumby's, baby. I was trying to fill that wallet up. One of the great delivery drivers in college history, Gumby's. You had to go. When I interviewed there, they're like, "Are you cool?" Yes, I'm cool. I don't worry. You all can get as high as you want, and I'm not going to say anything.
Wait, what is Nathaniel saying? You needed to eat a cheeseburger. I thought he was at a pretty good weight right there. Nice fighting weight.
I'd kill for that thing to come back. This disgusting thing that I got to look at every day over here.
Well, and that's interesting that you bring that up, and we see Slim Carm because over the week that game garnered some $5 to burn the phone, a $5 super chat from Aaron P. 100% agree, but it is ironic that you bring up the Slim Carm photo because one of the pieces of information for Bears fans that made waves was the picture of Slim Gervon Dexter, Slim Dex, if you will, here, and you see him walking into Hallis Hall for the first time this year, and people were looking at that like, "Hey, it looks like he's slimmed down now."
What was the weather that morning that he's walking in there? What are we looking at?
Great point.
Like 50, high 40s, maybe.
Oh, in Fahrenheit. Okay, but he was still making sure, like he wasn't wearing an oversized sweatshirt. He wanted to make sure everybody knew, because like everybody who's ever lost weight always has to tell everybody, like, hey, you meet somebody for the first time. Hey, oh yeah. Hey, I used to weigh 260. Okay, great. I don't know. That's great. So, and they move on from that. And so he really wanted to show off that body. Like when Jonah Hill first lost the weight and he showed up on every red carpet, his suit couldn't be tighter, but he had to let everybody know that he had lost some weight. So I appreciate that. That shows off the hard work that he put in during the off season.
Well, and people, Carm, were taking that weight because, I've even brought this up on the program. I've been in a 2-week long argument with a guy that watches our show about, I brought up the idea that maybe Dennis Allen would play him on the edge sometimes, not completely move him from position, but he has played defensive end for a limited amount of snaps under Matt Eberflus. Now Dennis Allen comes in and he kind of fits the build of what Dennis Allen wants on the edge. I mean, obviously it's not a perfect fit, but from a size and length standpoint, he does kind of fit that. So I had suggested, well, hey, maybe he's going to play some defensive end. Then people saw that photo and they were like, well, wait a minute. He's slimmed down. That means he's going to be playing some defensive end. Well, he cleared the air. Somebody asked him, Kurt on Twitter asked him, you about to play some edge? And he said, can I? Yes, I am. But yes, I can, but no, I don't know why folks keep saying this. And the other aspect of this too that I find interesting is people thought he lost a lot of weight from this picture. Steven said his playing weight coming out of camp was 312. I think he had responded to a fan yesterday saying last year he was 307, and in that picture he's 310. So he actually didn't lose weight. He's just looking leaner like Carm did in his college days. All
right. Put the weight in the right spot. I get you. All right, that's good.
Yeah.
Let's just say this about Gervon and Rank. I know you got to get on out here, but on a real note, when I'm thinking about the Bears being successful in 2025, if Gervon Dexter Sr. can actually become the player that they wanted him to be, that defense will rock.
Yeah.
He is. I'm not saying that the season hinges on him. I don't want to be too hyperbolic here on a Friday. I'm always a very serious Carman at all moments here. But for real, if he goes next level, you pair him with Jarrett, Montez is healthy, the back end of that defense, now you're really cooking. And hopefully, whatever they do offensively as far as adding in a running back and I think just making things a whole lot better for Caleb with everything that's gone on here, you would think that the Bears could win a lot of football games. They need I'm not putting it all on Dexter, but he could be a huge, huge part of 2025 if he can come true, if he can, hit his potential.
The headline for this show, Bears going to the Super Bowl if Dexter plays up to potential.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Actually, I take it back. It's all on you, Gervon. You're a friend of the show. We're going to have you on here. No pressure. Either play great and get to the quarterback. We need 10 sacks out of you. You sack the QB 10 times. We're going to the playoffs and maybe more.
That's Carm. That's the Carm that I like. By the way, speaking of Dexter, did I tell you guys that I ran into Dexter Holland at my local Mexican food joint?
No, you didn't. And if you did, if Dexter Holland walked by me tomorrow, I wouldn't know who he is.
Are you kidding me?
Who's Dexter Holland? Who's Dexter Holland? Am I supposed to know this person?
The lead singer of The Offspring.
Okay. Maybe
That's not impressive. Okay, fair.
No, I like Offspring.
I
I just didn't know the lead singer was Dexter Holland.
Listen. One thing that I've come to learn on these Fridays that I barge my way into is that Adam Rank literally sprays to every single field there is. Comedy, music, football.
Yep.
There is no limitation here.
Golf. He's big golf and baseball.
I know. I've been trying to. I'm sweating out Russell Henley making the cut, which I don't think he's going to.
How's our guy Freddie Couples doing?
Great. He was 1 under yesterday. I haven't seen so far today.
Yeah.
Is golf a sport, Rank, or is it a hobby?
Obviously, no, it's a sport. It is a sport. Don't be ridiculous.
I know. It's just
don't be this person.
I know he's been that person all week.
I am this person. I can't help it. I mean, I don't know. How old is Freddie Couples? 78?
Hey, it's Rick. Yeah, I don't know. Listen, I drive by a softball field and see a bunch of old men doing that every night. Yeah. Is it a sport or no? Or is it a recreation?
Well, right. They're old men playing softball on a park in LA. They're not in the Major League Baseball field. If they were, then I officially would call it a hobby.
Ricky Henderson played till he was like 60. Julio Franco played till he was like 60. And the only reason they got rid of him was because it wasn't like they weren't producing still. It gets to a salary thing and taking a spot for a player who's developing. Like LeBron, how old's LeBron? LeBron's like 90. There you go.
Check this out. I got this. I dug this out of a ditch on one of the courses I play on. Check it out. Look at that.
That's nice.
Yeah. Look at that.
Wait, hold on. Let me see if I can find. If I have this with an arm's length.
Stretch.
I don't know where this thing has been on my desk forever, and I can't find it now. I'll show you when you come back on the show.
All right.
I'll show you on Wednesday.
Adam, you're the best. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thanks for picking up the slack for me today, too.
We'll have another.
Thanks for nothing.
So we've had ranks. We've had ranks a lot. We've had ranks a lot. This week was ranks for nothing. So stay tuned. We're going to have 2 more different rank segments here the next 2 weeks. I already have them in the hopper.
Oh, great.
And then we will decide which one we like the most to stick with going forward.
And we're talking about real sports, Adam, just to show you. This is an authentic U.S. Open 28. They're all in years.
That's a recreation. I just saw a bunch of old ladies playing tennis.
Yeah. This right here, caught in the line of duty, a real ball from real athletes. Can't wait to see you at the U.S. Open last week of August. Come on out.
Okay.
But I will tell you the thing about Freddie Couples and Bernard Longer is that they play Augusta really well. They don't really show out in the other tournaments. They're not going to show up at the U.S. Open or anything like that. And both of those guys might make the cut, but then they're not going to be in contention because they're not athletically talented still to walk the court. Like walking Augusta, you don't understand how undulating those hills are and everything like that. So there is a lot happening there with
there's no doubt the undulated hill is one of the toughest things that any athlete has ever conquered.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. No.
Try it.
I know. Listen.
Try it out there. Try it sometime.
And like sometimes on the golf course, like the wind will pick up, and like you'll have to adjust.
Yeah.
And then the caddy will have to like get out his thing and
thank you. Now you're understanding how difficult it is.
Right.
You're taking a tiny ball with a stick and you're trying to make it pinpoint accurate from 155 yards.
I'll never argue on the difficulty of the activity.
Of the sport. You just called it a sport. There it is. Good night, everybody.
See you, Adam.
We'll see you out tonight in Rancho Santa Margarita.
Come on out, baby. And there we go. So we get to the top of the hour, though. A reminder, become a diehard. Come out to our draft party, 115 Bourbon Street. And we appreciate everybody who's done it. 80K of the YouTube subscribers.
80,000. Let's go.
All CHGO, allchgo.com/events. Come for Thursday night, round 1. Come for Friday night, rounds 2 and 3. Go crazy. Come for both nights. We'd love to have you. There are tickets available. They are moving along. So get on in there now. Draft Day Live 2025. It's going to be awesome. Looking forward to seeing everybody 2 weeks from today for rounds 2 and 3. Real quick, we put out what we like to call a short here at CHGO, which they call it everywhere else, where I'm making a plea to the city of Chicago to get their act together before the Bears leave for Arlington Heights. Carm source is telling me that there was a meeting yesterday with the new mayor, the old mayor, and the Bears out in Arlington Heights as things continue to progress on the stadium. Now, I don't know, this is not reporting some major development. All I know is that they're meeting and they're having conversations. I'm hoping that for the people of us who want the Bears in the city and don't want to see a $1 billion hole on the lakefront because they left and never paid off the debt, and John and Q taxpayer are going to be completely stuck with this. I'd love to see you figure something out before it's too late. It might already be too late, but at any rate, that was a little bit of a piece of news from yesterday. Henceforth, we put out that video. Yep. Also, Greggy, you want to touch on Mason Graham from the 1920 football drive?
Yeah. Well, we gotta give a shout out to our guys over at Prize Picks, and of course, this is our Pick'em segment, brought to you by Prize Picks, and we appreciate those guys every single week, helping us out. And so yeah, we'll get into this because the Pick'em segment of the day is Ryan Poles seemed to be hinting at Mason Graham in the 1920 football drive video, or at least some fans are speculating that was the case. Now, here's a little screenshot of that. And as you can see, as they're talking, and Steven, you can jump in here as well, because I know you watched it too, get your take on it. Certainly was interesting. We kind of went through this last year, I feel like, when they released their video and fans are trying to figure out what's on the TV and what they're talking about at the same time. But this one, from a timing standpoint, Steven, certainly raised some eyebrows.
Yeah, well, Poles said, quote, probably 1 or 2 when asked where the player they were referring to was ranked. And you could see in the reflection on the glass right there, I'll show it once again, you could see Mason Graham in the background. Now, I know a lot of people are going to take that and they're going to run with it and they're going to say, oh, he's definitely talking about Mason Graham. He could have been looking at the field as somebody that just ran a drill. So I don't want to jump to that conclusion, but it is interesting. Another player on that field, Abdul Carter, same day. So that would be a very plausible 1 or 2 as well.
Yeah, of course. They could have been talking about a player from the day before. They could have been having a conversation of something that was on their sheet, or a different player that had just ran a drill, and not specifically Mason Graham, who, if you look at the TV monitor that's on the reflection on the screen, I guess, Mark, this begs the question. Did the Bears know that Mason Graham was on the reflection of the TV screen? Or was this an oversight and they're talking and now that's on there? Or did they plant this and then edit it in a way that's throwing people off the scent? Or are we as Bears fans reading too much into all of this?
Well, definitely that. But to your first question, though, was it strategic? Because I know that the Bears do very strategic things as far as putting things out. All you got to do is look back at Hard Knocks last year, and where it looks like it's this big meeting and they're mapping out where the seats are going to be at the new Soldier Field. And of course it's blatantly staged. So they would do something like that, but it looks staged when they do it. This did not. So I actually do think it was an oversight situation, unless the Bears are getting a lot more stealth than they have been in the past, and I don't think that's the case here. So I think this is a good job. I think this is an excellent detective work here.
Now, I'll say this much. If we pull up the picture one more time, I do think that there is a percentage chance, because normally I'd say, The Bears aren't going to be stupid enough to put something up that's going to reveal what their board looks like. But this is such the way the reflection is, I would hope they're paying attention to those kind of details, but I could definitely see this being an oversight and not recognizing, if there was a clear TV on behind them, then I think they'd see it potentially. But I do think that there's a chance that there was an oversight there because it was off the reflection. Now you're editing something and they're talking about something and you're me and Steven and the producers, the fine producers at CHGO Sports, we know how it is. You're working fast. You're trying to get something turned around and you miss something. And so I think there is now what percentage chance, but I do think there is a percentage chance that they didn't realize that Mason Graham was actually on the TV there when they were talking about it. If that's the case, it could all be a moot point. As we were doing the rankings with Adam earlier and talking about who's most likely to be there at 10. I would have quibbled with Adam on his list because I do think it's Ashton Genty least likely. Then it's Tyler Warren. And now I'm starting to think that, it could be Will Campbell at 3. There's certainly a lot of buzz going around that he could potentially be the guy that's taken earlier in the draft than people are realizing. I know the RAS score that came out yesterday that people were looking at. We could pull that up, Steven, where it says that this guy, Will Campbell, who everybody knows that I've been high on for a while. Will Campbell, this is from Kent LaPlante, and he's the guy that invented RAS scores. And he said Will Campbell is an offensive tackle prospect in the 2025 draft class. He scored a 9.91 RAS out of a possible 10. And this ranked 15th out of 1,508 offensive tackles from 1987 to this year. So, long-winded short, but to me, I think he's now very, very unlikely to even be there at 10. I can see a team like the Patriots taking Will Campbell, and now Mason Graham becomes that guy that's second behind Armand Membo. I know Gary Ross just shared something with me where the Jets might be interested in Armand. Originally, a month ago, Mark, it seemed like Membo was going to be the guy that went in the top 5 of the tackles. And now, the more people, Rank mentioned Draft Dr. Phil saying he's not big on him. I've talked to some different scouts that I talk to on a daily basis saying that they think that Membo is very raw. And so I trust when they say things like that to me. So I'm not as high on Membo as well, not being the offensive line expert. I'm going to lean on people that are. So I think he's most likely to be there at 10, but all bets are off. You just never know how these draft boards are going to fall. But I just found all of this to be pretty interesting. And I do think Mason Graham has a very good chance of being the guy that falls to 10 out of those 5 that we gave rank earlier.
Yeah, right. One last thought on that. For me, I think this is a whole conspiracy. I think this is a Chicago Bears smokescreen. A lot of editing goes into these 1920 football drives, and there's no way, in my opinion, that they didn't see that reflection on the glass. And the reason I say that video was recorded before NFL free agency began. Free agents began March 10th. Combine was end of February. My thought here is their boards changed. They went out. They already signed Grady Jarrett. Mason Graham isn't as big of a need now as he was back then. Yep. Even Dayo Odengo, who kicks inside quite a bit. You have plenty of depth with Gervon Dexter, who we talked about earlier. So I'm thinking this was a very clever move by the Bears.
And Edward Elric here in the chat says the Bears management has to approve the video. And I understand that 100%. We had the Hard Knocks offseason last year that will never happen again, and we saw the reasons why. The Bears are kind enough to give us a little peek behind the curtain, but you can be damn sure that they're combing this with a fine-tooth comb because they're not going to let any kind of information get out there that they don't want. And I agree with that ultimately. I just find it to be kind of interesting that they'd have to be paying attention to a reflection in the background and not an actual TV in the background as much. So I that part of it to me was notable at the very least.
All right, I got a headache. We got to stop this conversation. You're giving the Bears too much credit. They could absolutely miss this, but who knows? No big deal. What is a big deal is
everything is a big deal to Bears fans. Carm, wake up.
Yes,
Wake up and smell the tennis balls behind you.
I'm trying to bring some perspective to everybody as best I can.
Oh man, we are graced by your perspective.
Thank you.
Every
you
day.
are. You absolutely.
What would we do without your perspective?
Exactly right. Thank you.
We'd
Damn
be
right.
lost without your perspective.
You would be. Hey, shout out most importantly to Papa Hogue, the great Papa Hogue, the leader of men, the dad of Adam Hogue, the great White Sox fan, the great Bears fan, the great Wisconsin fan. Deep down, I know he's a Northwestern fan. Papa Hogue, you're a hero. You've been supporting yours truly for a long, long, long time. This show since its inception. And every time you pop up in the chat, it is a treat for all of us. So happy birthday. I would sing you the Camp Nabagamon birthday song, Hans Skaleva. But since Braggs is, I think, reaching his limit with me today, I will.
Sing it.
No, you want a Hans Skaleva?
What do you mean? I'm gonna stop you from singing whatever you've sang it before, whatever you call it. Sing this for Papa Hogue's birthday. Of course, this is what he's wanted all year.
Yeah. Hans Skaleva, Hans Skaleva, Hans Skaleva, Papa Hogue. Sing it with me. Boora, 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 boora. Hans Skaleva, Hans Skaleva, Hans Skaleva, Papa Hogue. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thank you for watching. Thank you to 80K. Next stop, 100K. Thank you to Greg Braggs for all his hard work yesterday, today, every day. You too, Steven. Awesome job. Went graphic in the middle of the show on the fly with my rank part 2. That's the type of stuff Steven does behind the scenes that nobody would know about that you got to appreciate. Thank you, most importantly, to Bobby Rome for joining us today to start the show. That was awesome. Apparently, they're letting me do this out solo here, so I will say goodbye to everybody from my palatial condo. You'll never see this background again, seemingly, because I'm leaving this place, and it's an emotional day here. We're packing up. We're moving on out to the suburbs, like the hypocrite that I am. But that's not because I had any control of this situation. I guess I did, but I didn't. Now you're in my head.
You and the Bears moving out of Chicago.
Yeah, well, okay. I shouldn't have brought that up. I didn't mean to, Chicago. I love you. I'm coming back as soon as I can. Have a great weekend. Anybody going out to White Sox this Sunday, I'll be there, so say hi. And, enjoy the rest of your Friday. Thanks for watching. This has been your Friday edition of the CHGO Bears Podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.